The chairman duo of the ruling Nepal Communist Party has once again called on President Bidyadevi Bhandari amid the ongoing wrangling in the ruling Nepal Communist Party. Despite a massive call on the president to limit the position of the head of the state to be ceremonial, President Bhandari has intensified political meetings. Nonetheless, the development yesterday has been seen with huge interest by the political fraternity in the country. Good morning, I'm Abhyuday Shrestha, and these are the headlines of the hour. Chairman duo of the ruling Nepal Communist Party call on President Bidyadevi Bhandari despite growing call on the president to limit herself to the ceremonial role. The trend of establishing new government bodies without feasibility study and lack of expected output fast becoming a regular trend. The first consignment of the Pfizer-BioNTech coronavirus vaccine arrives in the UK. Vaccines to be distributed to hospital vaccination centers around the UK soon. And Tottenham Hotspur advanced to the knockout round of the Europa League, holding Lask to a 3-all draw. Spectators allowed in Arsenal Stadium for the first time since the pandemic. The chairman duo of the ruling Nepal Communist Party yesterday called on President Bidyadevi Bhandari in separate meetings amid growing speculations that the ruling party is at the verge of a split. Meanwhile, President Bhandari has intensified political meetings despite growing call on the head of the state to limit the position to ceremonial. Prime Minister and Party Chairman KP Sharma Oli reached the President's office at Shital Niwas yesterday to hold a meeting with the President. Sources at the President's office said that the meeting dwelt on the ongoing dispute within the ruling party. Meanwhile, Executive Chairman Pushpa Kamal Dahal also called on the President later yesterday evening. Sources said that the meeting between Dahal and President Bhandari did not last long. Even as Executive Chairman Dahal's secretariat has said that the meeting dwelt on the intra-party rift, details of the meeting have not been revealed yet. The development yesterday has been seen with significant interest by the political fraternity in the country. However, this is not the first incident that the chairman duo has called on the president amid the ongoing political crisis. The 14th General Convention of the main opposition Nepali Congress, slated for early February next year, is almost certain to be deferred. The leadership faction of Nepali Congress has started the legwork to reschedule the convention. With less than 2 months remaining for the earlier schedule for the General Convention, the party active membership certificates have not been distributed yet. The Bijay Gachadar group from the Loktantrik Forum and RPP's Sunil Thapa faction are yet to be merged into the party. There were earlier plans to merge these two groups by mid-December, but a final draft on this is yet to be prepared. The ongoing scenario has most likely pushed the date of the General Convention to early February next year. The leadership faction has reportedly reached a mindset to defer the convention by 3 months and hold it on Republic Day. That falls on the Nepalese date of 15th of Jyesht. The dissenting faction led by leader Ramchandra Paudel, meanwhile, has been rooting for the earlier date of 7th of Fagun this year. The dissenting faction has also put a 16-point demand to the party leadership. In the meantime, the third faction in the main opposition, led by leader Krishna Prasad Sitola, has been building pressure on the party leadership to postpone the 14th General Convention, citing that the proposed 7th of Fagun date is not feasible. Coronavirus has continued its steady surge in the country as the number of coronavirus cases has reached 237,589, with 1,343 more cases reported yesterday. The death toll has climbed to 1,551, with 13 more deaths recorded yesterday. 9,289 coronavirus tests through the PCR method were carried out in the past 24 hours, taking the total test tally to 1,763,919. The federal capital reported 561 cases, with 455 from Kathmandu district, 26 from Bhaktapur, and 80 from Lalitpur. There are currently 15,766 active cases in the country. Meanwhile, 2,111 corona patients registered full recovery yesterday, taking the total recovery tally of the country to 220,272. The recovery rate stands at 92.7%. The trend of establishing a new body without feasibility study and lack of expected output has become a regular trend in recent days. The Department of National ID and Civil Registration, Nepal Shipping Office, Infrastructure Development Company, among others, have only added to the burden of the national coffer. The status of government bodies that are said to be launched through cabinet decision isn't any different either. The responsibility of the National ID and Civil Registration Department under the Home Ministry is to distribute national identity cards to the citizens across the country. Even as the works of distributing national identity cards to all the citizens within 5 years had been listed in the plans and policies programs in the year 2017-18, the work remains stranded. As a pilot project, the citizens of Panchthar district and officials of Singhdarbar were provided with the ID cards. However, the work hasn't moved any further in 1.5 years' time. The national identity card was aimed at replacing the citizenship certificate. However, the mandatory need to make both of the documents has deemed national identity cards useless. This is just a representative case among many other government bodies in a matching similar state. It may be recalled that Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli had inaugurated the Nepal Shipping Office in 2018 with the aim of operating ships in various rivers within a year. This office, established under the Ministry of Fiscal Infrastructure, has remained without work until date and not even carried out any study related to the project. The status of Nepal Infrastructure Development Company, among many others, is no different either. It has been 8 months since the government had announced of providing encouragement allowance for health professionals working at the high-risk zone of coronavirus. However, despite working at health risk zones, the health workers at the capital's Bir Hospital are yet to avail themselves of any such financial incentive. Even as the health workers have waged a protest program for the past 2 months demanding the release of their allowance, the hospital management is yet to address the issue. We have more in this report.
The health workers at Bir Hospital, the country's oldest hospital, used to avail themselves of medical and health incentives during normal times. The government too had announced of special incentive for health workers mobilized up front to deal with corona patients. Sadly, the health workers at Bir Hospital since March this year have not received any kind of financial incentives. The medical staff at Bir have waged a strike since 18th of October, staging a sit-in for an hour at the hospital premises every day. The staffers even padlocked the office of the director at the Bir Hospital and the vice-chancellor of National Medical Science Health Academy. Bir Hospital has been treating corona patients ever since the virus emerged in the country. However, the hospital management has not even provided safety medical kits to the health workers assigned upfront to deal with the corona patients. The hospital management, meanwhile, has cited its poor financial status as the reason behind not being able to provide the facilities. There is a serious call on the stakeholders to address the issue of the health workers at the country's oldest hospital at the earliest.
The development activities in the country have not materialized despite growing expectations on the part of the general public. In this context, in our Public Voice segment, we had asked the local residents in Sunsari district what could be the reason behind the slack development works. Let's take a look at what they had to say.
Public Voice.
विकास आयोजनाहरूले पर्याप्त बजेट सुरुमै नपाउँदाखेरि विकास निर्माण कार्य प्रभावित भएको छ।
कोभिडलाई देखाएर चाहिँ विकास निर्माणका काम जति हुनुपर्ने त्यो भएको छैन। त्यो चाहिँ अलिकति यो दोषारोपण गरेको मात्रै हो।
समयमै सक्नुपर्छ भनेर त्यस आयोजना सक्नको निमित्त प्रतिबद्धता नहुनु पनि एउटा मुख्य चुनौतीको रूपमा देखिएको छ।
कोरोना भाइरसको न्यूले पनि नेपाल सरकारले विकास गर्न नसकेको होला।
स्थानीय निकायले पनि चासो नदिएर पनि होला यस्तो भइरहेको।
विज्ञहरूलाई चाहिँ टोलीमा राखेर कहाँको के फिजिबिलिटी स्टडी भनेर चाहिँ त्यसलाई प्रपरली लागू गर्न सके विकास निर्माणको कार्यहरू चाहिँ द्रुत गतिमा बढ्न सक्ने देखिन्छ।
कतिपय ठेकदार साहेबहरुलाई चाहिँ यो कोभिडले चाहिँ कारण देखाएर पनि आफूले गति छाडेको जस्तो पनि ठाउँ-ठाउँमा भएको छ।
कोरोनाले पनि केही प्रभाव त पारेको छ, यसको असर तर मेन कुरा भनेको मेन जडै अहिले चाहिँ भ्रष्टाचार हो।
कोभिडले गर्दाखेरि सारा संसार आक्रान्त पारेको बेला यी चाहिँ तपाईँको के भनेदेखि सरकार बचाउन र ढलाउन लागे। विकास निर्माण त कसरी हुन्छ?
And it's time now for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
And here's the question. What's your take on the situation where medical workers need to resort to protest to receive corona incentives? Your options are A, lack of decision implementation, B, government apathy, and C, lack of budget. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B, or C, and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. And that's all for the moment. Keep watching Kantipur Television HD for more news and entertainment. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.